Here's one method of seed starting that I like. They're called soil blocks. And I'd used this before years ago. Then moving and everything, I lost my little soil block maker. So I went and got another one. They're simple to use. The only thing is you don't want to just use straight up potting mix because it's too coarse. So I run it through 1/4 inch sieve, and I add my worm castings, which have also been sieved, and then you add lots of water, so it's kind of clumpy. Then you take this little gizmo and you push it in down into the soil several times, and you twist it up, and then you get this mess. Well, what I do to solve that, I just take my trowel and give it a quick scrape. This is a lot easier, mind you, doing it two-handed, but since I'm trying to do the camera and this at the same time. But you see the soil's all packed in there nicely. And then you just take this and you go over to your little tray. And as you can see, I've already got one in there. And then you want to pull up as you push on the spring bit. And then what happens is it leaves you with all these nice little soil blocks. And they have little dimples in the top to put the seeds. Now you're probably wondering about the container and the paper towel and everything. Well, this is just from TV dinner. A friend of mine at work was having a TV dinner, and I'm like, oh, can I keep that little tray? That's perfect for what I need it for. Rinsed it out, cleaned it really well. And then I find that if I put a paper towel in the bottom of them and soak it down, and then once I put the seeds in, instead of covering them with soil, because you see there's these little gaps in between the blocks, I moisten these and put them over until they germinate. And then once they germinate, I roll them back and tuck them in here. And then when I go to water, you don't want to, of course, water directly onto the blocks because it'll wash the soil away, obviously, because there's no actual container holding the little blocks together. But what I'll do is, when I have this all rolled up and tucked down the side, is I just sprinkle the water along there. Well, with wicking motion, or wicking action, whatever the technical term is, the wicking of the paper towel into the soil will keep the blocks moist. Of course, before they germinate, I'll close it up like this after I put the seeds on, and then I'll put some saran wrap or some kind of clear film over it and put it in a warm spot. But I just wanted to share this with you. I'll show you some that I've already started and how they look. So I wanted to show you, now that you have your little soil blocks made, now you have to plant seeds in them. So I just tapped them out into my hand. This is spinach. So they're a little bit bigger of a seed. This is probably as large of a seed as you'd want to go with these, because, I mean, pea seeds and stuff, well, they're almost the size of a pea or bean seed, for example. Like I said before, I don't bother to cover them with soil, but I will tap them down gently just to make sure they have a really good contact with the soil, in the soil block. But you don't want to tap too hard, because then you might break it apart. And then I just give each one a little bit of a squirt of water, if the water will come out. There we go. There we go. And then cover it with those two little flats of paper towel, and I give them another squirt. Okay? And there you go. That's how simple it is to plant seeds in them. One thing I forgot to mention, though, is the reason I don't like to put soil, as I mentioned before, is because of all these little gaps. You see all these little gaps? Well, what that does is it helps to keep the roots from growing over into the next soil block. It's called air root pruning, I believe. Anyways, so that's just how simple it is. I'll wrap this with some saran wrap just to keep the moisture in a little bit, and I'll check them every day, maybe even a couple times a day, to see when they germinate. And I'll put a little label on here. And what I do is I just label them tray 1, tray 2, etc., etc. And then I write in my little book what I've planted in each tray. having a small garden, I don't want 40 plants all of the same variety of spinach, for example. So I will plant several different things. It's just like I don't want 40 plants of broccoli. So I mark down which rows I've planted what kind of seed, and I just write it in this book. And then the other thing I like is that I can write when they germinate, so then I know how long roughly each seed is taking to germinate, and then that way I can kind of keep track whether or not they're going to germinate, because the seed packets will tell you how long it takes for them to germinate. Once they do germinate, I just roll this over like I was talking about before, and I'll just gently tap it down into the side here. And then when I water, I'll just water along that edge, and the paper towel will carry the moisture to the little soil blocks, which of course waters the seeds. Anyways, I'll show you what they look like once they've germinated. So here are some that I started. I think I started these 5 days ago. No, 4 days ago. That's right, 4 days ago. And these are brassicas, you know, broccoli and stuff like that. And I started them in the little soil block. And this is what I mean by I just roll and tuck. And again, a reuse. This we went out for dinner, and this was the nifty little container that we got for our leftovers. I looked at it and I go, that would be perfect for starting some seeds in. You know, gotta think of these things. Nice and sturdy. It's probably better than a lot of the ones that you buy purposely for starting seeds in. But it's perfect. It holds 2 sets, so and in each set there's 20 blocks. So there's 40 blocks right here in this tray. And of course I ended up with 2. And you see some flowers and stuff starting. But anyways, I'll probably give these a week. Usually you want to wait until you start to see their first set of true leaves, because these little leaves here are their seed leaves. So once they get their first set of true leaves, then I'll transplant them up into bigger blocks, and I'll show you that when it's time to do it.